evening, WDWA and Wrestle Talk podcast family. How y'all doing out there tonight? Great to be here with you guys. You know, just another great show here. Coming off of a great show with Code Red. Oh my goodness, what a show. But, before we get into the breakdown of Code Red, I want to mention to you uh, about the fact that tonight we have Chulo, Montana, going to join us here, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to talk to our light heavyweight championship tonight. I got some questions lined up for him and, hopefully going to have a good conversation. So it's going to be a heck of a show. Don't know where my tag team partner is here tonight. Donnie was supposed to be here, and unfortunately, I don't know if he's running late. Something came up, but it is what it is, and we will make it through. And of course, as always, we are going to have our fans. I shouldn't say as always, I guess, but we are going to have our fans weigh in tonight. So, make sure you're commenting. Make sure that I see you that way. If you want to be the fan to weigh in with your picks tonight, then I'd be happy to bring you on when we get to that point, and you can tell us what you think is going to happen at the next show. Salute to the fallen. But, as I said, we're coming off of a great show, from Code Red. And you never know. You got to give Chulo a chance, it could be a good show with Chulo. We'll see. Like I say, I got some questions lined up for him. And you never know what he'll get into talking about. Shout out to Andrew. But yeah, as I said, we're coming off of a great show, coming off of Code Red. That was a heck of a show. And there we go. Here's the results. If you weren't at Code Red, you missed it. But there was a few people there that some may not have known. We had Sadistic Fame versus the Helm. Sadistic Fame being Tommy Fame and Sadistico. They put on one heck of a show. They put on a fight against the Helm, and it was a great match. It was great to see what Sadistic Fame could do, but in the end, the Helm came out victorious. Although, I did forget to mention, prior to that match, we did see all of Money and Power come out. They were together, and they talked about, was Money and Power on the same page? They talked about basically Austin being their golden boy, and AK was there with them. He didn't seem to take too kindly to some of the comments that were made, but he was there with them, and they seemed like they could be united and everything, but I don't know. Well, only time will tell, because there's still that question on, are they united or not? But then, like I say, we went into the match, and the Helm came out victorious in that match. So great match, great showing by Sadistic Fame. Look forward to seeing more out of them because I'm sure that's not the last time we're going to see either one of them. Then our next matchup, we had AJ Morales against Chulo Montana, our guest tonight, in a light heavyweight championship match. I don't know if you guys saw the promo that was shot, where AJ had tried to talk to Chulo um, prior to their matchup or not, but you know, Chulo seemed like he didn't know who AJ was. He didn't care who AJ was, but AJ showed that, he is nobody to uh he showed that he's nobody to sleep on. He came out, he was fast paced, he was high flying, he had a lot of action in there, and it was just great to see. But in the end, Chulo came out victorious with this one and, you know, kept that light heavyweight championship. To me, that seems like a little bit of an oxymoron there. A light heavyweight. But, it is what it is. Um, but yeah, Chulo came out victorious with it. And it was great matchup. So next, the next matchup we saw the Sigma males versus Legion. This matchup, another great match. I mean, they all were great matches on the card, but the Sigma males had been eliminated the previous show from that tag team fatal four way by Legion, and they felt that they weren't fairly eliminated, so they wanted their revenge. They wanted another shot, so they went ahead and booked this matchup so that sorry about that, but so that the Sigma males could try to get their revenge over Legion. And right off the bat, from when Legion came out, there were things to take note of. When Legion came out, you saw that Sean Phoenix wearing around his neck the mask of Axel Crow. I still don't know what they've done with Axel. Last time we saw Axel, he was carried off. There's a promo out there. You guys may have caught it on the Facebook page that shows them, stomping and choking Axel. And you hear Dex talking. I don't know what they've done with Axel. I don't know where Axel Crow is. The Axel Crow has not been seen since he was carried off, but Sean Phoenix was wearing his mask around his neck when he came out. Another thing to take note of was Sean Phoenix actually had Axel Crow's bandana tied around him as well. So they definitely were trying to show, they were trying to show their dominance from what they did to Axel Crow. They were trying to show off their trophies. And, as much as I hate to see them have this over Axel, whatever they've done, they made sure that you saw that from the get-go, just as soon as they came out. But, you know, irregardless, they came out, Sigma males, heck of an entrance as always. Crowd was behind the Sigma males, and, you know, a lot of back and forth. We saw Dex try to get involved in the match, but in the end, the Sigma males were able to come out victorious. So it was great to see the Sigma males able to get their revenge and come out on the victorious end of this. You know, Dex was none too happy about it. We saw him admonishing Sean Phoenix, admonishing Wraith. Um, you know, as he took him to the back, he just wasn't happy about this loss. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens from there with that whole thing. But as I say, I am sure I may not have seen Axel. I don't know what they've done to Axel. I don't know where Axel is. But one thing I do know for sure is Axel Crow will not stay down. And I'm sure he will be back. And I can't wait to see it. And I can't wait to see what the Sigma males have in store going forwards. Because I'm sure you haven't seen the last of that either. Because as I say, Dex, he wasn't happy, and so I'm sure he's going to want even more retribution. So we'll see what happens. Then next up, oh, there we go. Next up, we saw Stevie Grind versus AK Bane, the monster. You know, a lot of people thought that this was going to be an absolute squash. You know, what does a guy the size of Stevie Grind have for somebody the size of AK Bane? And, you know, when it came down to it, I was quite surprised myself that Stevie, he came out, he had lots of energy. The crowd was behind him. And, you know, he actually dominated several parts of this match. And it was quite surprising to see. And he made a heck of a impact on the crowd with this. But of course, in the end, it turned out to be just a little bit too much for Stevie, and AK Bane took the victory. So just want to check over my notes here, make sure I didn't leave anything out there. You know, that was a heck of a first half right there. But at that point, the first half actually was not over because prior to going into halftime, we heard from Zakar Shaw and Clay Jacobs, our former WDWA tag team champions. You know, they were in the building. We saw Zakar come out. We saw him, you know, he talked about the fact that Clay had not answered his calls. He hadn't talked to Clay. He hadn't heard from Clay. And, you know, it just seemed that nobody knew what was going on. And so he called Clay out. Clay came out. At first, Clay told him, said, you know, look, we had a great run. it was fun, but we're done. You know, it is what it is. So we're done now. Time to go separate ways, and this is just over. And Zakar basically told him, said, "Look, this is not the Clay Jacobs that I know. Clay Jacobs, I know, would have never given up. He would never walk away from a fight. He'd never walk away from what UCK has done to us. He'd never just say, okay, yeah, I lost, and then walk away from it, and that's that. You know, he would want to even the score with UCK. And, so basically he told him, that he was being a pussy, and he wanted to see the real Clay Jacobs. He wanted to see the Clay Jacobs that he's known. And Clay seemed to take a little bit of exception to that. And he came back and told Zakar, if we're going to do this, I want the real Zakar Shaw. I want the Zakar Shaw that broke my leg. I want the Zakar Shaw that I have known and has played dirty and does whatever he needs to do, not the Zakar Shaw that we currently have. And, so they shook hands, they agreed, and they decided they are going to move forwards. They aren't done with UCK, and that, they are still a team. And so right now it looks like they're on the same page. Are they? We'll see. But so far it looks that way. So I hope that they are on the same page. I hope that they are able to continue to work together. I look forward to seeing more of Zakar and Clay. They do make a great tag team. Don't get me wrong, they did make some pretty good enemies. They've had some pretty good matches against each other, but they've also done a pretty good job together. And I just look forwards to seeing where Zakar and Clay will take things from here. So, then we went into intermission. We had our normal drawings, but then we had the drawing that everyone was waiting for. We had the drawing to see who would be the Lumberjacks for the Lumberjack match. They drew 6 lucky fans to be Lumberjacks, and you know it worked out really well, um, with the 6 that were drawn, and we will talk about that match here in a little bit. I know there was a lot of people that they were hoping to be the Lumberjacks. Um, some people had spent a lot of money in the drawing, and it honestly, there was people wanted to see how they'd react as Lumberjack, but we got 6 good Lumberjacks out of it. So congratulations to the 6 that were picked. And like I said, we'll talk about that a little bit more here and just a little bit. But, then we got back to more action where we saw the tag team championship match. We saw UCK, our newly crowned tag team champions, in their first defense against the Freak Show, who were the winners of that fatal 4-way tag team matchup last show. And, you know, UCK obviously came out on top, and they retained their titles. But it was a good show, and at one point it looked like Freak Show might win it. Freak Show, they went for the big top drop, and it just didn't happen. They went for the big top drop, and there was a save that came in, and they fell on top. UCK fell on top of Freak Show and got the pin and came out victorious. So, they were able to retain those titles. So we will see though how long that will last, and how long before Zakar and Clay get their hands on UCK. So it's going to be hard to tell how long that's going to last. Yeah, and throughout the night, Donnie, he wasn't there at commentary either that night. He had a previous engagement. I was joined at commentary by none other than why Keys. He was my commentary partner for the whole night that night. He had that Holy Grail sitting there. After Chulo's match, he did stand up. He had the Grail in his hand, but he decided to hold on to it. And after this tag team match, he asked me, would I be his tag team partner? Did I want to be the tag team champion with him? I told him, sure, let's go. But, unfortunately, the tag team champs has gotten out of the ring. The ref got out of the ring, and, it just didn't happen. But, given the chance again, Keys, I got your back, brother. I will be tag team champions with you. No problem at all. But, so there were a lot of eyes on the announce table wondering, would he cash in? Who would he cash in on? I did get to ask him, and I may mention this to Chulo, get his reaction as well, about cashing in on Chulo, and he had told me that him and Chulo are buds. They are not tag team partners anymore. He doesn't have a tag team partner. Speak of the devil. There's Keys right there. But that, he still respected Chulo. They're still friends, but you never know if he's going to cash in, and when he will cash in, or who will cash in on. So, I had a lot of fun with you, Chulo. It was great to have you there at commentary with me. So, and like I say, just remember, I got your back, brother. You want to cash in on tag teams? We're there. So, next up, we went from some tag team action there to a women's triple threat match where we saw Sis Sasaki versus Lady Glory versus Amara Void. Another great matchup. In this matchup, we were a little worried because of the fact it was tag team. There were no disqualifications in a triple threat matchup. So we were a little worried about the tag team on the outside. Was UCK going to get involved? If they did, there's no DQ. How could the other two combat that? Just so many things in that matchup. But our referee, Adam, that night, he was filling in, and he made sure that he had a fair triple threat match, because the first thing he did was kick UCK out from ringside. Not allowed. So, a little bit of a controversial move because of the fact that there is no disqualification, so there really wasn't any rules. Um, but he kicked him out anyway. But it was a good move to try to get a fair fight. Um, and we saw moments from each of the ladies there, and it was one heck of a fight. And at any point, any one of those women could have won that matchup. And you never knew who was going to come out with that 3 count. But in the end, Amara Void came out with the 1, 2, 3. And Amara Void took the victory. Our former women's champion, Amara Void. But, you know, not surprising that she could come out with the victory. The surprise of the matchup came after she took the victory because she called for a microphone. They gave it to her, and that's when she let the crowd know, hey, I've talked to Gavin Jackson. I never got my rematch for the women's championship. And I've talked to Gavin. I want my rematch. I want my women's championship back. It's been almost a year since Tiffany Grady took that championship. And so I want to take it back from her. Now, Tiffany, she does have another title defense between now and the all women's show. So is it guaranteed she's going to be the women's champion? Not at all. But it doesn't matter because whoever the women's champion is at the all women's show, they will be facing Amara Void. She was told if you win this matchup, you can have your rematch at the all women's show. And by golly, she's got it. So she is going to be at the all women's show in the women's championship match against whoever our champion is at that point. You know, will it still be Tiffany Grady? That remains to be seen. We will find out. Oh, I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen, for that all women's show. I'm excited for that matchup. I am excited to see if Amara can take that championship back from whoever has it. And just so much action going to be happening between now and then. And we will talk about Tiffany's next matchup here in our fans weigh-in segment. But all the action that we've talked about so far, but we're still not done. There's still 2 matches to talk about, believe it or not. So much action. So, the next matchup that we got to talk about was a heavyweight championship match. A match that personally I called a lot of flack for. Why? Because I did not pick Ace Christian to win this matchup. Ace, I know you're watching, and I had not picked him. He watches Elevation, and he always gives me crap for not picking him. But it is what it is. I got to go with my heart, or I shouldn't say with my heart. I got to go with my head because in my heart, I'd love to see you win, Ace. But this was another great matchup. Coming right out the gate, Ace had this matchup on a fast pace. He was hot flying as he always does. And, just a great matchup. Great job by Ace. But in the end, it came down to Austin Kingsley retaining his title once again. And, when that matchup was over, though, the crowd started cheering. They wanted to see that cash in. They wanted to see why Keys cashed that trophy in. He got up, he went in the ring, but unfortunately, Austin slipped out and got away, and Y Keys was unable to cash in, unfortunately. Would have loved to have seen that cash in, would have loved to have to seen how that was going to go, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. Then we went to our main event, and I see you in the back, Chulo. I'm going to get to you here very shortly, I promise. But, we went to our main event, match one in a 2 out of 3 series matches where we saw Jamie Hall versus Ranch Hand Carlson in a fans lumberjack match. And not only was it a fans lumberjack, the lumberjacks had straps, as we already said. 6 people were picked, and you know these guys were getting thrown out left and right, and people didn't care who it was that got thrown out. They were going at them, and Jamie Hall was able to come out victorious in this one. And don't think just because it was fans that they took it easy on anybody. You know, Jamie Hall, you can see some of the whelps there after the matchup on Jamie Hall. But as I say, Jamie Hall came out victorious, and so he won the first match of the series, and now he got to pick the second match, which is going to be a dog collar match. So, my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, it was a heck of a show. If you missed it, as speaking of Jamie Hall, but if you missed it, as our good friend Donnie Diablo, who is apparently MIA tonight, uh, did, be sure to check out Frontline for all the highlights. Step into the big house, earn your stripes in the big house, the crowd is jumping, the crowd is loud, everybody's rowdy all around the WDWA. That's Frontline every Thursday, 8 p.m. on youtube.com/Wild Patriot 22. Juan does a heck of a job with that. And so, always great to catch up. There's things you'll catch on there that you may not have even seen on that night. But that was that night. This is tonight. This is Elevation. And we promised that Chulo Montana was going to be here. And unlike my co host, Chulo is here. So let's go ahead and get him in here, our light heavyweight champion, the one and only Chulo Montana. What's happening, Chulo?
Too much is happening, John. You are spewing so much sound out of your mouth. I have places to be, bro, Chacho. And the intro could have used a lot of work. You could have said the beautiful, the amazing, the handsome, the charismatic, the WDWA light heavyweight champion, the love machine, Chulo. That's what you could have said.
Well, Donnie was going to handle your intro. I don't know where he's at. After all, he was the one who really wanted to talk with you, but unfortunately, I guess he left me solo tonight.
You didn't
But
want to talk with me?
well, it is what it is. But hey,
Whoa,
but
hostile.
I do have questions for you. I did come prepared. I'm not unprepared. So let me start with this. One thing we like to do, we like to pull the curtain back just a little bit, you know, and so before you got into the bright lights of WDWA, what is it that made you decide to get into the wrestling business, and how did you get started in the wrestling business?
Oh man. I mean, how did I get started? I seen wrestlers do it. I was at a show and I seen them do it and I seen the crowd chanting. And I was like, hold on, like I'm kind of goated. I can do that. I could probably do it better. And as you can see, I just do it better than them.
So, what type of struggles did you have to overcome to make it to the top of the wrestling business?
Struggles. I'd love to sit here and tell you I've never struggled a day in my life. But I have struggled, like I feel like dealing with fans like the ones at WDWA is a struggle in itself. Like you have to smell hot breaths, you have to look at unpleasant sights. So I would say I don't get the credit that I deserve because I am a better wrestler than 99% of the roster. Yet the fans don't like me for it. So that's a struggle in itself. Just every day having to go to work. Well, every show having to go to work, and these dirty pigs just don't like me.
So, you mentioned about, you feel that you're the best in WDWA. So, what sets Chulo, Montana apart from the rest of the WDWA locker room? What sets you apart from them?
Um, First of all, have you seen me? I'm beautiful. Second of all, I have a real personality, and this is not, I have a very legit personality. This is the real me. This is Chulo. Um, I don't play I don't play Dusty Rhodes like some people that we've seen on WDWA before. I don't play the character of a rock star. I don't play the character of I'm not Gunther 2.0. I am Chulo. And the fans like to chant Eddie. No, I'm not trying to be Eddie. I love Eddie. I have respect for Eddie. Rest in peace, but I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I am the first me. In the ring, I still train constantly. I'm goaded. I'm amazing already, but I still train constantly to get better in that ring. So I think that's what sets me apart.
All right. Well, surprisingly, I guess they'd say it's a little better late than never. I noticed in the back here, my co-host has finally popped in.
Oh man.
Man, what did I miss? I mean, Chulo's already on. I thought I would probably be on before Chulo, but
Look,
Uh,
Donnie. I had to get on because I have a
yeah,
lady to
you got
get to
things to do.
around eight something. So that's why I got on time.
There you go. I mean, I wasn't trying to hold Chulo up by any means. By any means, I'm not sure what all you've asked. I just obviously was able to get on, but Chulo, man, you got a lot of love over here in the comments. I don't know if you're able to see the comments over there, but a lot of people loving on Chulo as they should.
As they should. Oh, there they are.
Yeah, there you go. Oh
Let
no,
me see.
I think
Let me
that
go.
one might be talking about me. They're not talking about you. See, there we go.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah,
Susie
I can see.
Hogg saying time to tune out. Girl, go ahead. Nobody like you anyway.
I
You know,
think Steven just misspelled. He's not the brightest, you know.
I know he's such a goof. He thinks he's awesome.
And,
Okay,
you know,
Donnie, do you have any questions for baby boy?
just what do you got planned next? I mean, you're going to go down probably as the greatest, or not probably. You're going to go down as the greatest light champion we've had. You've how many times? How many times have you beat Blaze Ace Christian now? Or anybody. You beat everybody that they put up against you. Now you got Miles Millennium coming in, and he thinks he's going to take what nobody else has been able to do.
Listen, I usually don't get tired, but I'm kind of tired of beating Ace Christian, so we can leave that behind. You know, I have a 3-way on May 23rd. I'm not new to 3-ways.
actually, it's
I'm
a
new to them
one-on-one.
in the ring. Yo, shh. I'm new to 3-ways in the ring, but outside of the ring, I've mastered them like perfectly. So I'm looking forward to it. Victor Jones has had a lot of dumb things to say on the internet, so we'll see what he's about. Miles Millennium seems like a fine young talent. So you know, let's see what we can do.
Well, Gavin has informed us that Vic will not be in this match. It'll just be you and Miles. So it is a one-on-one match now.
Oh, the cake boss ducking. Okay, understandable. I duck me too.
I mean, I've known Vic for a long time. He's a smart guy, so he knows better, I think, than to get in the ring with you.
He does know better. And Vic, I seen in the comment section, he called me the chosen one, as if I'm supposed to take offense to it. Of course I'm chosen. I'm handsome. I'm charismatic. I'm sexy. I make Gavin a lot of money, and Gavin pays me a lot of money in return. Of course I'm the chosen one.
Right. I mean, Vic's been on a winning streak. Why would he want to get in there and ruin that at this point?
Lose it. Yes, exactly. Good job, Vic. Good job, Cake Man.
So one question I have is we all know Chulo, you know, you and Y-Keys have always been close. You know, Y-Keys, he told us while he was on commentary at the last show that, you know, you and him are no longer tag team partners here. You know, you both are singles competitors, and he does hold that Holy Grail trophy. So, you know, are you concerned? Does it add anything to you having to watch your back that Chulo has that? Could could he cash in on you? And if he does, do you think if he was to cash in after your match with Miles that you could withstand both challenges and continue to walk out the champion?
John, do you realize why Keith is in the comment section right now? He is watching this.
I
Don't
know.
give him ideas, dummy. Look, Donnie, see, I'm trying to be nice. You see this. I'm trying to treat you guys equally, you know, but it's hard because then he does dumb things like this. Listen, White Keys is he knows better. He knows better than to try to cash in. He wants to become WDWA champion, right? So like he knows to be successful to not stand in my way.
Well, I mean, he almost cashed in last time. I mean, he stood up, he had it in his hand, and the crowd was cheering. But
He did that.
you know, and he just didn't do it though. Of course, then again, you know, during the tag team championship match, he told me I could be his tag team partner, and you know, we take the tag team championship. But
look,
you know, that
I'm not the biggest UCK fan, but I would still rather have UCK as tag champs than John Hoss and Y Keys.
Now see, don't put down the tag team of me and Joaquin's now. See?
Next question, John. Of course, I'm gonna put y'all down.
So, you know, as we said, Miles Millennium, he's coming into WDWA. I believe this is his third match in WDWA, but he hasn't been there in a few years. Last time he was there, we were still in running out of custom creations and Martin. And so with him coming in and him not being there, you know, how do you prepare for somebody who hasn't been at WDWA in a while?
Well, you know, Miles hasn't been at WDWA in a long time because you said custom creations. What a time that was. Anyway, um, how do I prepare for it? I'm just look. You've seen. I don't know if I'm just too good, if I'm just too good of a wrestler for Gavin, but he's not putting me on these posters. So I'm pretty pissed off, and I'm gonna take that out on Miles Millennium. Millennium or Millennial? What's his name?
Millennium.
Or millennial.
Millennium. Okay. Um, I'm on a roll, and there's literally no stopping me anytime soon. I got everything. I'm doing it all by myself, all fair and square, no cheating, no shenanigans, nobody on the outside helping me. It's all me. So if Miles thinks he's ready, he's out his mind.
Well, and should he somehow pull out an upset victory over you this weekend, what would that mean for your legacy at WDWA that you lost to a man who hasn't been there in several years?
Are you kidding? John, Donnie, I'm gonna need you to start talking a little bit more than John. But
I
listen,
think it means, I'll answer this one for you. I
there you
think
go.
it means they've ran out of people to throw at Chulo that we see on a regular basis. So they're just scraping the bottom of the pond, and whatever comes up to the top, that's what they're throwing towards Chulo.
Okay, listen, I'm a big time. I'm not gonna say I'm a hater, but I'm not gonna say all that about Miles. I've seen Miles a time or two. He's a very talented guy, but he is nowhere near my level. Like I said, I'm going crazy right now. John, did you see my last match?
Of course, I was
What did you think
commentating your
about it?
last match.
What did you think about it?
I thought it was a very good match. You had a lot of back and forth, and I think you were kind of underestimating your opponent. Uh, because I saw the promo as well where you acted as if you didn't even know who your opponent was and didn't care who he was.
Don,
But
not Donnie, John. First of all, you're using all these weird terms that I'm not familiar with. What's a promo? Second of all, I don't act. I thought this guy was Spider-Man. I thought he was Miles Morales off the movie. But listen, I will. I'll be humble. I'll be humble. AJ Morales is probably the best wrestler that I have faced in this title reign so far, and he still didn't stop me, and I still found a way, and I still keep my baby. So of course, I'm ready for Miles Millennium. I'm ready for the Cake Man Victor Jones. Who else you want to throw at me? You want to throw Ace Christian's girlfriend with me in the ring too? I'll take her on in the ring, and no, not outside the ring. She's kind of ugly.
yeah, so right now you do hold that light heavyweight championship. But is this light heavyweight championship just one stop on a much bigger journey to bigger and better championships?
There is no bigger and better championship than the light heavyweight championship, and that's just me being honest. There is no championship that has better matches and that has such a talented, charismatic, amazing young man holding the belt. So there is no bigger and better championship than the light heavyweight championship right now.
This is a
All
case
right.
of the man
I don't
making
think
the belt, not the belt making the man.
exactly. I don't think y'all understand. Y'all, the fans at WDWA can hate on me all they want, but all I've ever done with everything I do is make it the best thing on the show. When Waikis and I were tag team champions, we were the best tag team champions in WDWA history. Now, they robbed us. Gavin put some uh, angry old heads in front of us when they didn't need to do that. And unfortunately, they stole the belts from us, but we still are to this day the best WDWA tag team champions of all time. Same thing with the WDWA light heavyweight championship. I'm already the greatest light heavyweight champion of all time. Yeah, there's been guys that have held it for 400 days, 300 days. Samuel Thompson, Ace Christian, this and that, but they don't measure up to me. And that's just me being humbly honest.
All right. So what message would you want to send to Miles Millennium specifically uh, before the bell rings this weekend? What message do you want to send to him?
Miles, bro, Chacho, at least you're man enough to show up, unlike Victor Jones. But now, with that in mind, if you're not going to be at the top of your game, just don't show up. Let me take the night off because I'm at the top of my game. So if you don't plan on being the same way, just don't come, bro. Don't come.
All right. And, obviously, as you've already said, you've already made your mark in WDWA. You've been tag team champion, you've been light heavyweight champion. So you're definitely going in the history books already. But years from now, when people look back at WDWA, what do you want the name Chulo, Montana to represent in the WDWA history?
I want them to look at that name and be thinking to themselves, I could never touch that. I could never be as good as that guy. And, that's just the truth. They could never be as good as me. Listen, the WDWA fans take me for granted. Y'all don't know how much longer y'all gonna have me. So I say y'all start enjoying me before it's too late.
All right. Well, Donnie, I don't want to take all the time here. I mean, I've asked a lot of the questions.
Right.
I've talked to him already about his match with Miles, and I've asked him some questions about Y Keys, and he's told us about how he got in the business and everything. But I'm sure you have some other questions there that you want to throw out or something you want to elaborate on more. So go ahead
Yeah.
and jump in here.
How much more time we got with Chulo?
You got
I was going to say
5 minutes.
5 minutes. All right. Dream match. You against anybody alive or dead?
I'm not thinking about these things. I don't really dream. Sorry. I don't dream. I just want to have the best matches that I can at WDWA, and I'm gonna keep that championship. And that's it. I'm gonna make it the most prestigious championship in WDWA. Now, I'm not gonna be like the other guys that are talking about this is the workhorse title. You know how many times my boss, Gavin Jackson, has told me he wants that to be the workhorse title? Sorry, Gavin. I'm busy a lot of the time, bro, Chacho. You can get me once a month. But I'm gonna make it mean something.
Yeah. And I think to this point you have. Now, you've mentioned you're doing this all on your own. Are there any thoughts about maybe grouping back up? Maybe taking some of that money and power, joining up. They got an open spot, is why I'm asking.
Money and power. Why would I want to be with bootleg supremacy? I left supremacy in the past. So why would I want to be with something that's less than supremacy? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, no, I won't be joining Money and Power. I'm not going to have nobody by my side unless it's a fine, beautiful young lady. Other than that, not open to any ideas.
For once, I do have to agree with you, Chulo.
Well, there you go. Maybe your brain is developing a little bit better. Good job, John.
I mean,
You can hear the wheels
they are
turning.
just a knockoff of supremacy. So
They are, supremacy, those guys are dweebs. Like, I don't really care for them, any of them. But they can't, Money and Power can't touch what supremacy did. We had people, the real slow fans chasing us out of the building, coming up to my car, trying to beat my ass. They're not doing that for Money and Power. They might give Money and Power a little, you suck, and that's about it. So, often imitated, never duplicated or whatever. I don't know how to say these sayings.
well, I will say JTR has some that show up at his shoot job, but
I don't believe it. It was probably just Gary. He wanted to get a kiss from him or something.
But anyway, I'm sorry, Donnie. I didn't mean to step on your time there.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I made the pitch for Money and Power and everything. I see where that went. But what else? What else you
All
got to
right,
tell
guys.
the
So
fans?
if you don't have any more questions for me, just shoot me some names right now, and then shoot them to Gavin. Who do you want to see me face?
That's a good one.
Honestly, I would like to see Chulo Montana versus Y Keys. I think that
Oh
would be
my
one
God!
heck of
I
a
knew
match.
you were gonna say that. You're such a simple brain guy, John. No, okay, no. Is Waukesha a light heavyweight?
Did I say for the title? I just said I'd like to
Have
see
I
your
not been
next.
saying that I want that this is gonna be the best title in WDWA? So of course I have to defend it every time I pull up, John. I'm not scared. I'm gonna find a way every time. Me versus Samuel Thompson. That's a good match, bro, Chacho. Yeah. See, look, Waikis, Jamie Hall, Gunther. I'm not facing Gunther too. You, Donnie, who do you want to see me face?
Just Jay.
No, he's a tag champion. You guys have terrible ideas. You guys are not on it today. Listen, maybe you guys drop a few pounds and I could face you guys for the title. Yeah.
That would take a while. That would be a very long title run. If you're
I don't
waiting,
mind it.
you'll come out of retirement for that match.
Austin was Gunther. Well, listen, I guess everybody want to be Gunther. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Everybody wants to be somebody else.
Except for Chulo.
So Donnie, do you have any more questions for Chulo? I mean,
No, I don't think I have anything else. Except
Yes,
for thanking
close.
you for the time.
Yes, sir. No problem. Closing remarks. I have something real hot and ready waiting for me inside, and I'm not talking about Little Caesars. Thank you guys for your time. Well, actually, you're welcome for my time. And I will see y'all May 23rd. Chulo Montana, Miles Millennium. No, we're not having match of the night because I'm going to get it done quick.
all right. Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. It was all Donnie's pleasure, and we will see you Saturday night.
John, first of all, if you don't start respecting me a little bit more, I'm going to tell Gavin to take you off of commentary during my matches, and I'm going to ask for your pay. How about that? Start respecting me, Goofy. Bye.
All right.
Wow.
So
That's a lot I see.
what a night, Donnie! I tell you, I told him it was going to be an interesting interview, and a lot of people doubted me. I think it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed the first half of it and everything, but I'll catch you up on that because we don't have a couple hours or days to fill in everything that's happened in the last couple of days, 48 hours to be exact.
Hey, that's all right. No, it is what it is. We made it through. We made it work. I was able to go through the recap of the last show. Of course, you weren't there at the last show either, so
Yeah.
but it I got to go through all that, and so hey, we're still right on track here. But you know, we do have a fan backstage ready for the fans weigh in. But you know, real quick, I want to mention to everybody, every other Tuesday night when you don't see Elevation, you see the Wrestle Talk podcast. We just had a great episode, and we are creeping up on 550. I know we'd made an announcement at one point that we were at 550. There was a little mix up. We just had episode 541. We're coming up on 542 this coming week. You know, myself and Gabe, we will be there for that. And so you definitely don't want to miss the Wrestle Talk podcast. We have some great guests, and we got a little thing here that to check out for every other Tuesday night, Wrestle Talk podcast. So be sure to check it out. We go live at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time,
Do you
6
have a guest
p.m.
for the next?
Central, 6:50 p.m. Central. So, you know, we have some of the best discussions around, some of the best guests around. Be sure to check us out. So,
Who is the next guest? Do you know yet?
um,
Can it be announced?
I don't think I can announce yet who the next guest is, but we are in negotiations with another great guest. I just don't want to prematurely announce it if they haven't actually confirmed yet. So, but yeah, it's going to be a great show, irregardless. But yeah, and then you can also check out on Facebook. Check out FWWC, the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide chapter. Um, you know, I may not be the hardcore champion there anymore, but I am still one half of the tag team champions. And, you know, the FED will be in action Friday night. There's some matchups that have been announced for that. They were announced on the last episode of, or no, they may not have been announced in the last episode. But anyway, they have been announced on the page. They're out there, and people are gearing up for some FED action on Friday. And then the main roster is getting ready to get back into action themselves. They've been on a little bit of a break since they had Universe Mania. And so just definitely be sure to check that out. And we have a good time at that. But all right. Well, Donnie, I believe we are at our fans weigh in here. And, you know, last time we had Randy join us, Randy Wright, and we picked 8 matches. And out of those 8 matches, Randy got 4 right. You got 5 right. I missed 1 match. So I got 7 matches correct on that one. So, you know, the show before I was on Gavin's Island by myself, I think, and got the least right. But this time I was able to make up for it. So
I knew you'd probably bounce back after being in last place with that. Was on the Waikies show where we had Waikies making the picks with us.
But
he knew what he was talking about.
This time I have a fan sitting backstage. He's joined us quite a few times. He's going to join us again, and he knows his stuff too when it comes to the FWWC, and he knows his stuff with the WDWA. Welcome to the show, the top dog. Why is this top
What's
dog?
up?
Andrew, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Indiana seems pretty good right about now.
So thanks for joining us again. always enjoy having you on and making the picks and stuff.
Oh yeah. Freaking last Friday was insane.
Oh yeah.
Is that where you're at right now? Are you up in Indiana?
Yeah, I'm in Evansville, Indiana right now with I've been with my father. Went to go visit him for a month. So tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock Central Time, I'll be leaving, coming down this Saturday to WDWA.
All right. Well, since you brought it up, let's go ahead and jump into it here. You know, as he mentioned, this coming Saturday, WDWA South Berkeley Fire Hall, salute to the fallen. You know, definitely a show you're not going to want to miss. There's all kinds of action on the card. As we've already alluded to, there's been a few changes from what may have been seen online. So let's go ahead and jump into it here and get going with what's going to take place. So let's go ahead. We've already talked to him there. We Let's jump into this light heavyweight championship match. I know it had been previously advertised on the triple threat. We're not. It is just going to be a one-on-one singles match with Miles Millennium, who, as I said earlier, I believe this is his third time at WDWA. The last time he was there, we were still at Custom Creations. And, you know, so he hasn't been there in a while. It's great to see him coming back. Miles is one heck of a competitor, and he will be going for that light heavyweight championship against Chulo, Montana. You know, the guest that we just spoke with, and this is going to be one heck of a matchup. Like I say, Miles is a great guy. He's a great talent. I love to see him coming into WDWA. I'd love to see him a little more often. And, you know, so I just look for this to be a good match. Andrew, what's your thoughts on this match? Go ahead and start us off.
So I mean, I've seen Chulo in action. The dude, like, Chulo's got moves. He takes a little bit of cheap ways to win, but you know, he's the current light heavyweight champion for a reason, I guess. Miles Millennium. It's been a while since like I've seen him, but I know he's a great athlete. Dude's got moves, but I really don't want to go with this, but I'm going to. I'm sadly choosing Chulo, Montana. Not because now would I want Miles to win? Yes, but logistically, I know Chulo's going to try something, so I'm going with Chulo.
All right. So, Donnie?
Well, I mean, I already said some horrible stuff, I guess, about Miles Millennium. Because, you know, when Chulo takes up for his opponent, you know, maybe I was a little harsh on Mr. Millennium there. But I mean, it's really just the confidence I have in Chulo. He's a great lightweight champion. He's a great champion, period. And I really do think he brings something to the belt. He gives it his all every show. You know, he puts on a great show. And, you know, whether you love him or hate him for it, he's going to give you your money's worth. And he's on a roll. You know, you can't say he's not on a roll. He's beat every single person you put in front of him. So I feel like at this point, it's, you know, searching for people to come in and you know, just be cannon fodder for Chulo. And that's what I think this is. It's just more cannon fodder, somebody for him to chew up and spit out. And Chulo's he's gonna retain the belt. I feel confident about it. I mean, Top Dog already said he feels confident about it. Where do you lie on this?
You know, as much as I hate to do it, I'm gonna go with Chulo. I think he will retain. But, you know, that's by no means a knock against Miles Millennium. Miles, as I said, he's very successful. I believe he was, I I've seen Miles back in his days in EPPW, who is no longer around anymore, but he was there. I forget what they called it, but I believe he was their light heavyweight champion, but I don't believe that's what they called it. Um, he's been tag team champion. Um, Actually, he's been a couple of tag team champions at SWO. You know, so he has been around. He has held some championships.
And I believe if
And
he's not currently a Hall of Famer, he's getting inducted somewhere in a Hall of Fame this year in this upcoming class for whatever organization it was that I happened to see.
Wow.
so, I mean, he's definitely not one to sleep on by any means.
Really?
And he likes a fast-paced match. He's a great performer, but or a great athlete, but he's not going to come out with a victory on this one, I don't think. Um, do I think it's going to be a clean win? Probably not, because we're talking Chulo here. But it's I think it's going to be a win for Chulo. So,
Agree.
all right, let's go ahead then and let's look at some women's championship action. Or actually, I'm sorry, not championship action, just some women's action. Where we're going to see the great Sis Sasaki versus Gabby Gilbert. Another match that is set to be a great matchup. Anytime you get Sis Sasaki in that ring, she always is top notch. She always puts on the best match she can, and no matter who she's against. And Gabby Gilbert, she can sometimes be a force to be reckoned with herself. And so I look for this one to be another great matchup. Why don't you start us out, Donnie?
Yeah, you're right. And you got to remember too, they've got faced each other a few times in different variations of different matches and everything. They got into it and fought their way outside the ring during the tag match where Gabby was with Tiff and Scarlett was teaming with Sis. So I think they've got some unfinished business. There's definitely bad blood between them, and it's. I like your wording as far as Gabby. You don't know what you're going to get out of Gabby. Which Gabby is going to be there? Is it going to be kind of silly Gabby? Is it going to be the darker Gabby? Is it going to be a mixture of both? You don't know. And I mean, you don't even know really till the mask comes off, the bell rings, and then, eventually we'll figure out which Gabby is facing Sis Sasaki. Same thing goes with Sis Sasaki, but it's Sis Sasaki and something crazy is going to happen regardless. And she's going to throw her body, every which way and do whatever she can to take the victory home. And, it's crazy the things both of these women can do. It's going to be a hard-hitting match for sure. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be weapons involved. Maybe there's not. You never know with either one of these ladies. So it's a tough one. I kind of want to go Gabby Gilbert because I think the last time I chose Sis Sasaki, something happened and she let me down. But I'm trying to think of all the other things that could be in play with the back of the house and the people that we know are going to be in attendance that night. And when I start factoring all that stuff in, I think I'm giving Sis another chance. So I think I will take Sasaki on this one.
All right, Andrew.
I know what Gabby Gilbert is capable of. Just like Don said, two different personalities. You don't know if you're going to get one or the other. She's dangerous either way. She can distract you with that, friendly side, and then you piss her off to a point, and then that dark side can morally come out. But we've seen Sasaki done some amazing stuff, and not only that, going back to what Donnie said about like weapons might be used, you got to remember Sasaki might have the mist. So not knowing if they will have that or but I gotta go with my gut. I'm going with my girl Sasaki.
All right. And you both brought up some really good points, and there are a lot of unknowns. Um, and Gabby, when she comes out there from the dark side of the rainbow, uh, it's you you just never know what she's going to pull. But honestly, I can't go against Sasaki. I just can't. She is a heck of a person. She's a heck of a talent, and I can see her coming out victorious. And so I'm going to take Sasaki on this one as well. That's two in a row that we have been unanimous on. So
Yeah, we know there's a point where this is going to go in separate
yeah.
directions.
Gonna go sideways.
I kind of know where that point's going to be. I think I know where that point's going to be. If I was a better man.
Let's see how this goes here, because this is another one. I don't know. We may have different opinions on this one, but we are going to see the return of Dance Dance Lucha Libre. We haven't seen Dance Dance Lucha in a while, but he's coming back, and he's going against Levi Mortalis. Now, Levi Mortalis, he's been a student of WDWA. So this is his debut, and we have seen some absolute awesome debuts lately. You look at Buckshot Billy, you look at Double Tap. They have been some absolute awesome debuts coming out of the WDWA Academy, and this is yet another one. I think that by looking at what's coming out of the academy, I'm excited to see what Levi is going to have for Lucha Libre, for Dance Dance. Name's so nice, you got to say it twice. But I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see Dance Dance come back. But judging by what has come out of that academy, I'm last time I picked Buckshot Billy, and I was wrong. And but I'm gonna have to take Levi on this one. I don't know. I just see Levi pulling this. I see him pulling this one out. So what's your thoughts on Levi Mortalis versus Dance Dance Lucha Libre? We'll let Donnie go on this one.
Man, I know we both took Billy last time, so obviously, I'm really. I want to see Mortalis beat the brakes off of Dance Dance Lucha Libre. I really do, for one major reason. The last time we saw Dance Dance, the last time I saw Dance Dance Lucha Libre, maybe the rest of you have seen him a time or two somewhere else. I don't know, outside the wall of the sheets or something. I don't know. Last time I saw him was in a tag match, and I had to watch Daniel Alexander Dabrowski dance in that tag match, and that's something I never wanted to see. Therefore,
I remember that.
See? Was that not the most traumatic thing you've seen in your life? And poor kid had to watch it too. I think she went and hid in the back. I don't know. But yeah, I want to see Mortalis. I want to see Mortalis take it. But I can't pick him. I just can't. I'm gonna have to say Dance Dance is gonna win it. But I hope Mortalis, makes him earn it. Puts him.
So you're going with Dance Dance?
I'm going with Dance Dance.
All right. He's going with the name so nice you got to say it twice. How about you, Andrew?
So I know I've seen what Dance Dance Lucha can do former not cruiserweight, former light heavyweight champion that I've known. Don't know how long for, but at least the many times I've been to WDWA in the past, I've seen him as a former light heavyweight champion. But I'm really intrigued on what Levi's going to bring to the table this Saturday. Because I've seen Dance Dance Lucha, but when I look at Levi, I see brute force and aggression, and I see potential in that kid. So I'm going with Levi because I want to see what that kid can do.
All right, so Andrew's going to take Levi, and I took Levi. So that leaves Donnie out on that island by himself there, and I'm going to hate to see if Dance does lose. I'm going to hate to see it because I like Dance. I've followed his career. I got to see him as a young wrestler at WDWA. Because he is also a product of the WDWA Academy. So I've got to see him as a young wrestler. I got to see him and Kalen Patrick in the ring together graduating.
Really?
And that was
a shock.
That a lot of people were shocked over that, but I have seen them both in the same place at the same time.
Huh.
So, so I got to see him graduate, and I've just seen his career. It's been great to see, but yeah, I think Levi, he's going to be hungry for his very first match, and I think he's going to make Dance pay, but we'll see. So, all right, the next match that we will we'll talk about. See that one there broke the streak. We were 2 for 2, but now Donnie's on the island. But the next match we'll talk about is Jacob Favor versus Joey Martinez. So this definitely looks to be another match that's going to be a heck of a match and a close one to call. Donnie, what's your thoughts on this one?
All right. Martinez, I don't know how many people in the area know him, but he's a vet, very highly decorated. Another one of those guys that's, I think, going into a Hall of Fame somewhere. Maybe he already has. And he's going up against God's Favor, Jacob Favor. And we've seen Jacob. It's been a very long time, but we have seen Jacob, I believe, in WDWA. He's been around. He does what he wants to do. I think he's going to come out there and he's going to shock some people with his growth. It's been a while, a few years, I think, since he's been in a WDWA ring, but he's been in plenty of rings besides the WDWAs. I got to go with Favor.
All right, so Donnie's going to take Favor on this one.
And I think it's going to be one of those where everybody's going to come in sleeping on him, and then they're going to be like, "Wow, yeah, didn't see that coming, but the kid's good."
All right, Andrew, who you got for this one?
Man, at least from my memory, I've never seen any of these men fight. But as Donnie said, a veteran, former Hall of Fame, current, future Hall of Famer going to be soon sometime. So I got to agree with Donnie. I'm going with Favor.
All right. And I think I'll go right along with you guys there on that one. So you both, Donnie's got some good points there on that one. And it's definitely going to be an interesting match. It's going to be a heck of a one to watch. I have seen a little bit of both men. And so I definitely look forward to it. But
did anyone happen to catch Waikie's comment? Somebody's Waikie's is playing Booker over here now. He's like dream booking. He's like WDWA universe mode or something. Right. Yeah, I don't want to see that match, Waikie's, because it's going to be. I don't know if you could put it up. Chulo and Donnie versus Waikie's and John Haas. So it's just going to be Chulo and Y Keys going at it while John and I lay in the corner and hold our knee like Christopher Griffin, like, ow, ow.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be the whole match. So I don't know. Maybe we could do that.
I missed that comment, but
missed it too. I just
oh yeah,
wow.
yeah, there it is. I see it now.
There you go.
Chulo and Donnie versus Y Keys, and yeah, that would be a. Hey, I'm game. I told you I got your back there, Keys. I'm there for you, buddy. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Gavin, book it. Let's go.
Who's gonna call the match though? Somebody's got to call it.
Andrew can call it.
Yes, I'll be referee.
Oh no, not ref. We're talking commentary.
Oh, okay. I would be honored. That would be awesome.
So yeah.
We'll put Gary.
Oh, jeez. That'll be the last.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about this 6-man match. Now, Donnie, you weren't there to see this, but last show we saw during the championship match where all of Money and Power was there. They tried to make you think they were on the same page. They may be, they may not be. I don't know. But they were all there. They were all together. And we actually saw during the championship match where the Helm decided they were going to try to get involved. And, so out of all this, Y Keys helped out. Zakar and Clay came out and helped out. And there was a melee between Money and Power, specifically the Helm and Cassius Carter, and Y Keys, Zakar Shaw, and Clay Jacobs. Those 6 men, kind of went at it with each other, and therefore we have this matchup. So, Andrew, start us out here on what you think with this matchup and who do you think is going to win it, because it's definitely going to be one heck of a match, because this is the first time we're going to see Zakar and Clay since they lost those tag team titles. Now they seem to make up and get on the same page. Clay didn't seem too happy when Zakar called him a pussy, but they seem to kind of get on the same page with, Zakar told him, I want to see the old Clay. I want to see the Clay that would fight. I want to see the Clay that wouldn't just say, oh, let's move on. It's done. It's over. I want to see you come back and fight. I want the old Clay. And Clay told Zakar, I want the old Zakar. I want the Zakar that broke my leg. I want the Zakar that we used to see, not this one that panders to everybody. So what's your thoughts on this matchup?
So apparently both men asking one another for the old versions of them, that's a dangerous chemistry right there. Yeah. I've seen some clips with Money and Power kind of not being on the same page. But again, like you said, with Zakar kind of calling Clay a pussy, that, kind of puts it a little bit. That team seems, not saying it's falling apart, but, the strings are unmending, which kind of concerns me a little bit. But I know them. I know Clay. I know Zakar. They'll get through it. It's easy. Y Keys, I know damn well he'll keep them in check to make sure that they can get through this match. Again, Money and Power still doesn't seem like they're on the same page. With, at least from what I've heard, with AK Bane supposedly coming out and almost interfering in matches for Money and Power. But I got to go with my boys, Clay, Zakar, and good old Y Keys. Got to go with my three guys.
All right, Donnie, what's your thoughts?
And it's really interesting that Top Dog down there brought up seeing the clips, that things going on behind the scenes with money and power and everything right now. So I was going to mention that, and it's like, oh, somebody else is up on that. So there
I might
was a
have been
video.
gone for 2 events, but I've been paying attention.
I was gone for the last one too. I was calling. Washington was playing Florida, so I was calling
Oh,
that
wow.
game in DC. Yeah, there's a lot of people in Florida that really hate me now, I'm sure.
Oh, no.
I didn't know there's a lot of, I didn't know that they would travel that far. Like, honestly, it's like, come on, it's our stadium.
I'm sure they join the masses.
Yeah. There's a few out there, I'm sure, but there is dissension, obviously, in money and power. There's that open spot. I saw where they were getting on to, or trying to get on to AK Bain about interfering or wanting to interfere or whatever it was that he did, or wanted to do or started to do during the last show. So, with that being said, I don't. JTR is definitely going to be there. I don't see Kingsley needing to get involved in it. I don't know if Bane's going to be there. If Bane's there, is he going to want to get involved? Is he going to? And then which side is Bane going to get involved with? So there's a lot of questions coming into this match as well. But there's a few questions on the other side, not from Keys. Keys is on the top of his game. Everything's going great for why right now. Why? Because he's sexy and blessed, and he's the Holy Grail winner, and everything else he wants to tell us. He's got
Damn
the
right.
keys. It's his game. Yeah. So, but then he's got Clay and Zakar, and they had that discussion. They've had, they lost the tag titles. You just kind of gave us both a recap about what they're going through. So, have they moved past where they were, what they were discussing? Is there some animosity? Is there still some questions there? It's a tough one. I think I've got to go with. I know I got to go with Waikes on this one, just because I feel that there's less issues on that side than there are in the money and power camp right now. And I hate to say it, but yeah, I got to go with Keys, Clay Jacobs, and Zakar Shaw.
All right. Well, I think I'm also gonna go with Team Clay on that. I am not going to go against you guys. You made a lot of good points, but there is a lot of dissension on both sides. There's a lot going on there. So and a lot of questions that we don't have answers to yet, as far as who all will be there from Money and Power, who all will be ringside, will they get involved, will Austin Kingsley be there, will Austin Kingsley come out during this match, could Austin possibly draw Waikes' attention, and then make him decide, maybe I'll try to cash in, and that distraction could possibly lead to 3-on-2. I mean, there's a lot of questions to be answered there.
And that's
So,
not even factoring in UCK and Lady Glory. Like,
exactly, Waikes, they don't need a trio, but they should all be professional. And he also said, tell him to put Justin in the match. Hey.
Put him against me. That'll be fun.
I tell you what, we've already said I'm going to be Waikes' tag partner. So, I mean, they want to throw Justin in the match. I'll jump in as the fourth. We'll make it an 8-man match. Why not? Let's do it. But yeah, so I'm going with Waikes, Clay, and Zakar on this one. I think that they can pull out the victory. I think Clay and Zakar can be on the same page, and I think it'll all be be good, and they'll pull it out. So we'll see though, and definitely look forwards to seeing that matchup. All right. So next up, we're going
Oh,
to talk about a match: Scarlet Maiden versus Jason Curtis.
yes.
Now, we remember that last time we saw Scarlet, you know, Jason was trying to trying to keep her foot off the rope so that she couldn't kick out and everything. And so basically he was interfering for Tiffany, as he frequently does.
Oh,
And he cost Scarlett the match. And Scarlett was not happy about that. So Scarlett decided she wants Jason Curtis. And so Gavin is giving Scarlett Jason Curtis. This match, oh, the implications that we could foresee from this. I tell you, because Scarlett is trying to claw her way back to the top. She's already said she doesn't care who she's got to go through to get another title shot. She's going to the top. Could you imagine if she beats Jason Curtis after his interference in that matchup?
If she beats
if,
Jason Curtis,
if,
if she
more like
beats,
when that she will be a.
if she beats,
Well, I tend to agree. It's probably going to be when and not an if. But I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt, being realistic here. We don't know who the winner is. So, we'll go with the if for now. But if she beats Jason Curtis, could you see the implications there? Her saying, look, you know, he was involved in my match with Tiffany. Now I've kicked his butt. I want Tiffany again. And
nope,
I, that
don't
would
do it.
just be something. So, I, as I say, I am going to go with Scarlett on this. Um, Andrew, your thought.
Uh, man, Scarlet for sure. I know wants to get revenge. I know, like probably say as soon as that match card popped up on the page, I was so excited for it. And then when I saw Jason's promo about it, it's funny how he's like, "Oh, it'll be no big deal." Then it would have been very awesome if Gavin could make that a weapon match, since Jason Curtis brought in, like, later earlier during that match, Jason did bring in the kendo stick.
Get out of my head,
So it's just
dude.
like
What the?
it's just like I mentioned Jason, and I was like, well, if you're so confident, then why don't you talk to Gavin and make it a weapons match then? If you're so confident. Now I don't know if it is. I don't think it is, but if it was up to me and I was management, respect to Gavin. If I was GM, I would be making that match a weapons match. But I got to go with my girl Scarlett. She's determined. She really wants to get revenge on Jason. So
Well,
I don't
or
see.
instead of a weapons match, since the kendo's been thrown out there, um, we could always have a kendo on a pole match.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's
You know,
good.
Gavin, I'm sure you're listening. Come on, man. Come on, you're a man of the people. Let's see it.
Make it
But
happen, Gav.
all right, Donnie, your thoughts,
We're
my
doing
man.
kind of everybody's dream booking tonight, and that seems to be what we're doing. I mean, Haas and I are in a match, and tag team, and like some other match. And now we got a weapons match coming up, or not a weapons match. Maybe it's just a kendo stick match, or we could do older school. It could be a Singapore cane match where the loser gets whipped in the ring with the kendo stick X amount of times. We do that. I was gonna say though, as far as booking and dream booking stuff, you were saying if she beats, I gotta emphasize your if she beats Jason Curtis, and I can't even not laugh when I say that. If she beats Jason Curtis, she gets a shot at Tiff Grady. No. You know why? It wasn't just Jason involved in it. So now you got to go back and you got to go through Sage Santiago next, and maybe one or two other people. Tiff could make this into a gauntlet. Like if you beat Jason Curtis, then you beat Sage Santiago, and then you beat this person and this person, then you get a shot at me. Tiff's in control of this. She's our queen.
Well-
she's our champ. She deserves that respect.
But Donnie,
However, in this match,
All right, man.
Scarlett's gonna kill you, JC. Run away. Don't show up.
but Donnie, one thing you talk about getting a match against Tiff and getting a shot at the title. One thing to keep in mind is not only is Tiffany in a match for the title this Saturday night, but at the all women's show, Tiffany is already booked because after the triple threat match last time,
Oh.
you know, the match between Sis Sasaki, Lady Glory, and Amara Void,
Ah.
after that matchup, when Amara won, which I mentioned this earlier, when Amara won, she called for that microphone and she said she never got her rematch after she lost the title almost a year ago. And she told Gavin she wanted her rematch, and Gavin told her if she won that triple threat, she's got it at the all women's show,
Mhm.
the same show she lost that title at. She has a rematch for that title. Now, does that mean it's against Tiffany if she's still champion? But if she's not the champion, then no, it's not against Tiffany. It's against the champion at that point. So, you know, you got to keep that in mind too, that even if Scarlett was to get a match against Tiffany, there's no saying that she's still going to be the champion at that point.
I mean, Tiff's still on this card too, right?
Yep, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But before we get there, we've got Tyler Hastings versus Javari Wolf. This is going to be another hard-hitting matchup. We have seen what Tyler Hastings can do since he's had this change here. You know, we keep going back to it, but how can you not? He put Grimm through our announce table.
What is he, John?
there,
can you say what he is real quick? What kind of guy is he?
No. We won't go.
Well, I hope they have a backup table for us. Remember, this is on YouTube. Literally, because
who else can say that they have put Grimm through a table? Now, yes, it was just Grimm's head. He didn't pick him up and slam him through. It was just his head. But I don't care how you look at it. The leg broke. The table went down. Grimm went down. Grimm went through the table. You know? So knowing that, knowing how much aggression Tyler can have. Oh, this matchup. I mean, we've seen a lot out of Javari Wolf too, and we know Javari is nobody to sleep on either. But I don't know. I have to go with Tyler on this one just because of the amount of aggression we've seen out of Tyler. He's tough to pick against. He's tough to beat, I believe. So I'm going with Tyler Hastings on this one. So who wants to go next?
I'll jump in because if I don't, Top Dog's going to take whatever's in my head anyway and run with it, and then I got to come up with something on the fly afterwards. But
it's okay. I'm still thinking. So
right, you're right. It's going to be really hard to pick against Tyler Hastings. He makes it impossible to pick against him. If you're picking against Tyler Hastings, you're crazy because you're going to lose every time. However, look at what Javari has been doing. I mean, he's come up short a few times, but look at what he did against our Holy Grail winner, White Keys. He put a hurting on White Keys, and I'm sure White Keys, if he's still over here, is going to tell you this. You know, I know that was Stoke, actually. With that. Javari, though, it's going to be a vicious match either way. But I got to go with the guy with the supply. The supply of what? Susie Haas is asking. Lately, he's been supplying plenty of pain and, plenty of angst, and he's just doing whatever he wants to do. So, whatever he wants to supply, that's fine. I don't want another broken table. I don't want John trying to hold up the table while I'm holding two mics or anything else. Let's just, Tyler Hastings.
And he says that he did that just because I wouldn't say he was the guy with the supply. But, in my opinion, the guy with the supply was Ty Awesome, not Tyler Hastings. Tyler Hastings, he's a totally different guy, and, he needs to come up with his own thing. That's my opinion. And so I'm not going to say it. But your thoughts, Andrew?
I respected Ty for many years that I've seen him wrestle. The fans cheering him winning gold after gold, being a former light heavyweight champion. And then it's just like at Berkeley Mania last year, he snapped. The man snapped, and I don't even know who Tyler Hastings is. So it's like this isn't the guy that I've been watching the past many years that I've started to show up in world domination. Javar, this man's a beast, a monster, and I can see him as a future champion. Maybe a little bit farther from being a world heavyweight champion, but maybe like mid-Atlantic champion or one half of a tag team. But in the far future, I could see him being a world champion. But I gotta go with the Wolfman himself, Javar Wolf.
Oh well.
All right, so Andrew's going to go with Wolf on that one. So
that's
the first time.
What if
that's the second time here we've disagreed on a match. Other than that, we've been the same on pretty much all of them. So, all right, we got two more matches to discuss. So we were talking earlier about Jason Curtis. Well, let's talk about the women's championship match where we are going to see Liberty L versus Tiffany Grady. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
These matches just keep getting bigger and bigger. I don't know how Gavin does it with the bookings of these matches. I don't know how he comes up with these situations, but man, I tell you, he has booked a heck of a match here. I mean, we have seen a lot out of Liberty L since she has come back, because, a lot of people used to know her as Scarlett, and now she is back as Liberty L. Scarlett is no more, and Liberty L is a force to be reckoned with in herself. And I don't see this being a walk in the park for Tiffany by any means. So, why wouldn't it surprise me to see Tiff pop up in the comments? She does a lot of times, especially when we're talking about her matches. Don't know how she does it. Whether she's got something on the, something that searches the internet, and every time her name is mentioned, it sends her an alert so that she can pop up, or what. But she seems to do that a lot.
She's got that tipping sense.
To be fair, there's definitely a few others that do that.
I guess she just knows when it's tipping time.
Ah.
So, all right, Andrew, let's start us off on this one.
Liberty L, from what I've known, I've seen way back when you said, when she was originally known as Scarlett, she was a force to be reckoned with, almost Lily unbeatable, but she came back to this wonderful, great athlete. The people love her. I like her. She's, amazing. That's one person you don't want to mess with. And I just don't see Tiffany coming out on this.
All right, so you're going with Liberty on this one?
Yep.
All right, Andrew's going to take Liberty L. All right. So Donnie,
I was just thinking of that Liberty insurance commercial, Liberty, all that
Liberty
stuff.
Bibberty.
Yep, that one. I hate this commercial. But besides that, you're right. Liberty L is an insanely tough cookie. And this match legitimately scares the hell out of me because I do like Tiff Grady. I think she's a wonderful champion. Our queen and champion. All hail Tiffy, Tiff Grady. But it worries me. It really worries me that Liberty L's in there, and Liberty L is she's scary. I'm scared when she walks in the building half the time, and I think most of the time she's actually been pretty nice to me for the better part of it. Tiff, on the other hand, it kind of runs hot and cold at times, but that's beside the point. It worries me. It really does. And it worries me even more because depending on where things line up as far as the match order that night, Curtis is probably not going to be a factor.
Nope.
That's going to be done. Sage isn't really Sage is a speed bump at best, and probably not even that, because I just think Liberty could step directly over, and that part of it's done. So I don't know who else Tiff can bring along, or what could happen with that. And then again, Tiff doesn't need that. I do believe Tiff can handle it on her own, and is going to have to handle it on her own. So I'm going to go with our champ, our queen, Temptations Tiffany Grady.
All right. Well, you both, like I say before, both of you bring up so many good points. Is Jason Curtis going to be a factor? Who knows? Will Sage be a factor? I doubt it. That's like an elephant against an ant. But they are still going to be there, and even though they don't have the strength, if it's after Jason Curtis's match and he's already had the heck beat out of him, he may not be in the best of shape, but you still have to worry about him. He's still got to be in your head. So he's still got that mental angle from it. Will that be enough to throw Liberty off of her game? Maybe not. She is tough. I don't take anything away from her. But I'm going to throw a number out there. 350. That's how many days Tiffany Grady will be champion come Saturday night show. The last show was 336. So you put another 14 to that. We're at 350 days that Tiffany Grady has held that belt. And I don't see her stopping at 350. She's going to do what she has to make it past that. And I foresee Tiffany holding on to that title and going into the all-women show as our champion and having to face Amara Void at the all-women show. And boy, that's going to be one heck of a rematch. But that's just my thoughts, So I'm going with Tiffany Grady on this one. It's going to be interesting.
If you saw it, your tag partner is picking me to win. So there you go. I mean, your other tag partner, your sis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it now. I was like, huh?
Man, you've got way too many tag partners right now. Let me narrow this way down.
I just can't wait until I have all the tag team championships to go with all these tag partners. I mean, I've got one. I just need the other one. Once me and Keys have that championship on our shoulders, we'll be good. I can't wait for that. That's going to be fun. But so, all right.
Good luck with UCK.
Right? Have to deal with Lady Glory. Jeez.
What's going on?
That's a good question.
Is that me or you?
He nailed it. He's right over there.
Okay, it looks like I can't scroll for some reason. This happened once before. All right. So I can't bring up the poster for it, unfortunately.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
I might be able to. Where'd Andrew go?
John, I can't hear you.
Oh, Donnie left. Okay, that's what happened.
I don't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Nope.
Hello? Okay, looks like I'm by myself here. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Uh,
I didn't know who was
I
having
don't know.
issues, so I just rebooted my end too.
I did mine too.
I was
So.
like, I'm doing it anyway.
All right. It looks like I may be having a slight issue because I can't scroll again, which happened once before, and I don't know why.
Uh-oh.
But so I'm not going to be able to bring up the poster for this match, but that's okay. We know who our competitors are for this one. Let me see. Make sure I got everything. 1, 2.
I was gonna say you guys probably do. I don't.
Yep. Okay. So after the lumberjack match, when Hall won that lumberjack match, he told him that since Caitlin's Pet Service had sponsored Ranch Hand Carlson, who lost the match, that in honor of Caitlin's Pet Service, he was naming the next match a dog collar match.
Oh,
I
shit.
love that. I love that.
That's
Jamie
gonna be
Hall is he not the man or what? That's amazing.
Mm.
He's lucky though, because Jamie's always sponsored by who? Right Boys Hauling and Towing. So they could have hauled Ranch Hand's ass back to Delaware or wherever he wants to go, and it could have been a loser leave town match. He could have done that too, right?
But ironically, Ranch Hand is not sponsored this time by Caitlin's Pet Service. Ironically. He is, however, sponsored. I should have looked at this beforehand. All right, while I look at, oh, there it is. Lisa Paget, Home Health Aid Services. I probably butchered that name, but then I apologize. But
that one makes a lot of sense too, because he's going to need some home health care. I think Ranch Hand's going to need, some, well, or maybe not, because if Jamie Hall does what he says he's going to do and put him down, and Jamie always does what Jamie says he's going to do.
I mean, Jamie said he was going to win the Holy Grail tournament. Look how that ended out.
Oh, yeah,
1,
yeah,
2, 3.
Again, Jamie. Jamie versus 3. That's how the 3 happened. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what.
That's what's
Donnie, you start with your thoughts, and I'm gonna go out real quick, and I'll be right back.
Got you. All right. See, Jamie said basically what I was just saying too. That he's glad, he's got some kind of medical care
Donnie, I
lined up
can't hear you.
for after this match.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. That's not a good thing.
I can't hear you.
I don't think I'm muted. I don't know if anybody can hear me in the comments.
Donnie's mic went out. I can't hear him. I can hear you.
I can hear both of you.
Oh, well, I can't hear him.
Okay.
Wait,
good.
give me a second.
All right.
Can you hear Donnie
I
now?
was waiting for somebody to say something.
Okay. Anyway, Donnie, you were saying?
Oh, geez. I would kind of lost that train of thought there. Anyway, we were talking about we're glad Carlson has, some health care lined up for after this. I was going to tell, Top Dog down there.
All right, there we go. Now I can hear Donnie.
I was going to tell you, look at the top of the poster there, that whole BDSM looking thing that they got going on with the, kind of scary looking. There you go. That's a little creepy.
It doesn't look so bad on Carlson's end, but on Jamie Hall, yeah, that just looks.
Reminds me of the Police Academy movie, to be honest. Like, the bar that they walk in, Blue Oyster. I don't remember. It was Blue something in it. It looks way better right there. So that one's all right.
So
yeah, I mean, you'd be a fool to bet against Jamie Hall. And I know you're going to say again the Holy Grail, and again, that's the past. Yes, somebody finally beat Jamie Hall. It was bound to happen.
It was good old
one day.
1, 2, 3.
And, 3 people to beat one guy. So yeah, I gotta go.
Ironically, you're talking about that whole thing and what it reminded you of, and whoops, wrong one. Jamie Hall says it was the Blue Oyster. Leave it to him to know that at this point, Jamie, is there something you'd like to tell us there, buddy? But hey. But anyway, so yeah, you're taking Jamie Hall. Andrew, your pick on this one?
I gotta go with Ranch Hand Carlson. I know my man will beat his ass in that dog collar match.
All right. So Andrew's going to take Ranch Hand. And, honestly, it was a heck of a fight between those two last time. And, I showed the picture earlier. I don't know if you were watching yet, Andrew. I know Donnie wasn't here yet.
Oh, yeah, I saw pictures. Man.
You can hear it too when Juan put the clips up.
Yeah, those whelps just, oh goodness.
I wish it was me that done it.
That Andrew was getting hit like that.
He wants to tell us that he's cultured and a big fan of the Police Academy movies.
That's right. He knows good movies.
Okay.
We've talked about movies.
They were good movies. But, honestly, in this match, it's a dog collar match. I'm going to give this one to Ranch Hand. I don't see Ranch Hand letting Jamie win 2 in a row.
He doesn't have to let him. He's obviously not going to let him. Jamie's just going to do it.
Yeah, but he's going to do whatever he has to do to win this match. And so I foresee Ranch Hand coming out victorious on this one. Does that mean Jamie's going to take another 1, 2, 3? Or is this one of the dog collar matches where you have to tap all 4 corners? I don't know the answer to that one yet, but I foresee Ranch Hand taking the victory on this one.
I don't know. I don't see it. And I don't garlic crosses, holy water, silver bullets, stake through the heart. None of that. I don't think any of that actually affects Jamie Hall. So he's going to have to figure out whatever it is that's going to get him by. How he's going to kill Jamie Hall. That's the only way he's going to get through this. And I don't see that happening.
Jamie's in the comments there. Obviously, he says you're the only one that gets it, Donnie. But Jamie, you can answer the question for us. Is it a pinfall, or is it where you tag all four corners? How do you win this matchup? Because I'm not sure. I haven't heard for sure which way it is. I've seen some that have been the first person to score a pinfall, and I've seen some where you got to tag all four corners. So, which way do you win? But either way, I foresee Ranch Hand coming out victorious in this one. And then obviously we're going to go to a third match that has yet to be announced. And I know personally, I can't wait to see what it is. And, it would be great to see a submission match.
Ooh.
Just to see if Ranch Hand could beat Jamie in a submission match. That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah. That would be awesome.
It's my match, which means I make the rules, and that means you'll find out Saturday. Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying, Jamie. Thank you for nothing. But as we said, it will be Saturday. It's going down. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be the place to be. South Berkeley Fire Hall. Salute to the fallen. Don't miss it. It is going to be one heck of a show. From the first bell all the way to the last bell. I can't wait. I'm sure everybody else is excited for it as well. And what's he got to say now? Donnie, we went from fantasy booking to fantasy dreaming.
He's right. It's going to turn into your nightmare there at the end of the night. You're going to be swimming out in Ranch Hand Carlson's blood.
Okay.
Like Delaware, all those chicken farms and everything up there.
I don't know but Andrew, thank you for joining us. We don't have very many that we went differently. We had a lot of them that are the same. And I want to thank you for joining us again. It's always a pleasure. And
awesome
we look
to be on
forward
here.
to seeing you Saturday night.
Definitely. It's going to be happy being back home.
So tell your dad we said hello. We miss him. Oh, there he is right behind you. So it's great to see him. We miss seeing him at the matches. Hopefully he can make one sometime soon.
Yeah.
And but thank you for joining us, and we will see you Saturday night, my friend.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right, Donnie. Episode 25 is in the books. Another great episode, and just heading towards Salute to the Fallen. And can you believe we are creeping up on Berkeley Mania already? I mean, it seems like we just had Berkeley Mania, and now it's Berkeley Mania season all over again, coming up in August, so it's not very far off. I mean,
and it just keeps,
wow.
Like you said, the matches, every card going forward. You look at the matches in the card last show, and now you're looking at the card this show, and it's just ramping up. And it's already like, this is California wildfire type heat we got already. We're going to scorch the whole eastern seaboard down. It's going to be, Sherman's March to the Sea or something. It's insane, the things that Gavin's throwing out there and putting on, and the matches he's getting booked. It's going to get better. It's going to get wilder. Plenty of
Yeah,
stuff.
definitely. And I know there's a lot of you out there that, you'll pay those insane prices to go see WWE. You'll pay those insane prices to go to AEW. You'll go to all these big name shows. I mean, for a lot less money, just $25 for front row seat. And to get the action that you get at WDWA or any independent company for that matter, I don't know why you would pay those insane prices when you can get the action that you get at independent wrestling. It's just,
And there's a
it's crazy to
difference
me.
too. Do you want to watch the story, or do you want to potentially be part of that story? Do you want to feel that story? Do you want to be close enough you can smell the story?
So definitely come on out, support your independent wrestling companies. It really is worth it. It's worth so much more than what you pay, honestly, because they really are putting on top talent and top tier wrestling. And I don't just say that because I am part of WDWA. Before I became, before I did commentary, before I did this podcast, you know, I was a fan in the audience. And before that, I get it because before I ever went to an independent show, I said, who are these guys? Why do I want to watch these guys that I don't know? But I went and I've been hooked ever since. And independent wrestling is where it's at. Heck, I'm honestly, even if I wasn't on the commentary team now, I'd rather watch the independent scene than I would to watch WWE or AEW. The product is really top tier. So it's where you need to be. Be sure to check it out. Um, any of your independent companies, because I mean, not only are we on WDWA's Facebook, we are on Wrestle Talk Podcast Facebook. We're on Wrestle Talk Podcasts YouTube page. We're going to be on. I'm going to be putting this on Spotify. So we're going out all over the country, hopefully even different countries. And so check out your local independent shows. It's where it's at. But Donnie, it's been a pleasure. I look forward to having you back Saturday night. Although if you can't make it, I enjoyed having Y Keys as my commentary partner. He was great. Had a lot of fun with Y Keys, and so he is always welcome. And but look forward to being back with you Saturday night. Thanks for joining me tonight. I always have a lot of fun when I get together with you. And just any last words before we go?
No, it's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to finally being back. I say finally being back. It was just the one show I was gone, I had the football thing to do. But it's going to be an outstanding show. Really looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing, most of the fans. Most of them, I'd say. But yeah, it's going to be a good one.
All
and I'm
right.
really looking forward to Frontline, hearing how White Keys and you did together on the commentary for the show I was gone.
Yeah, check out Frontline every Thursday night, 8 o'clock. On YouTube. Wild Patriot 22. Juan does a heck of a job. So from here, it is full steam ahead to Berkeley Mania. The train is pulling out. So till next time, I'm Hardcore John Haas. That's the one and only Dashing Donnie Diablo. And we'll see you Saturday night.